All right. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. For those of you watching on our free Atlanta News First app, you've been looking at a live picture of what is going to be here momentarily. Governor Brian Kemp, along with state agency leaders, business leaders, to talk about the economy and what he calls a major economic announcement for the state of Georgia. So I'm going to expand this view for you here. You can see people gathering, getting ready to hear the governor's remarks. We've put out a digital overview of the information that we've gotten from Governor Kemp's office. They are really tight-lipped about this and what the exact announcement is going to be. A reporter, of course, on scene, going to get you as much information from the governor, from these state leaders that you see here today. But right now, everyone is waiting for Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and his major economic announcement, as he likes to call it. We have yet to know what that is in detail. What I can tell you is recently, actually, the Georgia governor declared a state of emergency for Georgia, and he cited 40-year high inflation as his reason for declaring that emergency. Now, as part of that declaration, a temporary suspension of the state's excise tax, which is better known as the gas tax, that basically put a pause on taxing Georgians who are visiting fuel stations and getting fuel added to their vehicle, saving them 31 cents per gallon for regular fuel and 35 cents per gallon on diesel fuel. So a little more money in your pockets, and that's exactly what the Georgia governor said when he declared this state of emergency. He said specifically about the gas tax that while high prices continue to hit family budgets, hardworking Georgians deserve relief, and that's why I signed an executive order to deliver it directly to them at the pump. Those words directly from Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. Now, as you can see here, as our camera moves around, we're just setting up, waiting for remarks from the Georgia governor. And again, he said that he will be making a major economic announcement. What that announcement is in detail, we don't know at this time. However, once we do hear his remarks, hopefully he'll allow some questions at the end and we can get you as much detail as possible and really better explain what that announcement is and what it means to you. So we're right now taking a live look outside. I'm going to bring this full screen back for you. You could see some of these state agency leaders, people who have been invited to attend and stand alongside the governor, possibly those that might be involved in this announcement and making it happen today. He did let us know that among those that would be standing up there with him, constitutional officers, as I mentioned, state agency leaders, legislators, which you could see, which you could see a few of them, Georgia legislators, standing along that stairwell there, and economic developers. So that should give you a little bit of context into what this announcement will be about. We already know that he has paused the gas tax, citing 40-year inflation. That is top of mind for him. He did that during his re-election campaign as well, and he's been very public about the inflation rates and concerns that he has for Georgia as we navigate inflation. So whether that is tied to this major economic announcement remains to be known. Right now, we're waiting for the Georgia governor to take that podium and begin his remarks, and we'll hopefully hear from a few others, including some of those state leaders that you see on your screen right now. All right, and there's the Georgia governor himself. Looks like Attorney General Chris Carr also he's shaking hands with right now. So let's tune in to Governor Kemp's remarks as he takes the podium and makes his major economic announcement.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for coming out today. This truly has been a historic year in the state of Georgia. From celebrating 50 years of our international representatives, our film office, breaking records in investments, trade, tourism, Georgia's truly set a standard of excellence across the board. It's part of a larger upwards trend. So to put all that in perspective, we announced $6 billion in investments and 31,600 new jobs in 2013. Now that was a record year. And coming out of the recession, under Governor Deal's leadership, that was a huge turn for the state of Georgia. This year in FY23, we announced $24 billion and 38,400 new jobs to the state of Georgia. What hasn't changed is our focus on creating hope and opportunity for Georgians across the state. By staying true to our core mission, Georgia has accumulated unprecedented accolades and awards over the last 10 years, including some news Governor Kemp will share today. So none of this would have been possible without the dedication and long-term vision of the previous generation. Georgia provides the whole package for a healthy business climate, thanks to our legislators, our state agency partners, economic developers, and the predecessors who've come before us. And I want to say one thing about all the folks here in this audience from my team at the Department of Economic Development. It's the best group of professionals you'll ever meet, and whether I've now been there for 13 years, this is a celebration of a lot of hard work from a lot of professionals from this department, and I want to say thanks to them. But we literally stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. Thanks to their dedication and foresight decades ago, today they've laid the groundwork for another 50 to 60 years of success. Rooted in our holistic approach to creating opportunity, our 6 teams at GDEC work with partners in all 4 corners of the state to deliver new jobs, strengthen our economy, and provide the hope that goes with each. They connect Georgia businesses, visionaries, visitors, to all the right resources to realize Georgia's maximum potential. They foster innovation through collaboration, making a global impact in critical industries. This effort supports healthy, vibrant communities where families and local businesses can thrive. Thanks to the foresight of past and present leadership, our state is a global gateway for international collaboration. Georgia's benefited from a series of governors who've invested in key resources, including our acclaimed logistics network and higher education systems. Governor Brian Kemp has continued this tradition. Under his leadership, our global commerce team has supported over 1,700 projects, creating more than 163,000 new jobs, representing $69.8 billion of investment. His unwavering support has extended our international missions where he personally encourages, and I've seen this over and over again, every company to locate their headquarters to Georgia. His presence has helped us seize opportunities and land the jobs of the future. In fact, his first international mission was to Korea, and we've seen how that has turned out. It's pretty unbelievable. Just 2 weeks ago, Georgia accepted the James A. Van Fleet Award from the Korea Society, joining past presidents, industry titans, and distinguished diplomats. Last year, international investments were responsible for 47% of expected new jobs and 65% of total investment. Our international community, spearheaded by an active and robust consular corps, enriches our state's diplomatic, cultural, and business engagements. So now, before I turn the mic over to Governor Kemp, I do have to recognize our great First Lady and the girls. I know the girls aren't here, but I tell you, she is the closer, as the governor likes to say. When the state of Georgia voted for Brian Kemp, they voted for a family. And it's been pretty amazing to sit back and watch the 3 of them, the 4 of them, the First Lady and the 3 girls, travel the state of Georgia and work every day to make this a better place for all of us. So Ms. Marty, to the girls from the Department of Economic Development, from my team, thank you. Governor Kemp, First Lady, thank you for hosting us today. We're really proud to be here to celebrate. And I'm going to turn it over to my boss, Governor Brian Kemp.
Oh, thanks, Commissioner. Well, thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate the kind words, and it's awesome for the First Lady and I to have everybody here at your house today that we happen to be living in. If you're wondering why we're in the backyard instead of on the front steps, it's because of the shade. But we are honored to welcome you to the mansion to help us celebrate another great milestone for our state. And I want to recognize my fellow constitutional officers that are here with us that are such a big part of our team, our Attorney General Chris Carr, our Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper, who represents Georgia's #1 industry, by the way, our Insurance and Fire Safety Commissioner John King, our Labor Commissioner Bruce Thompson, also members of the Public Service Commission, Chairman Jason Shaw now, Commissioner Fitz Johnson, former Chairman Bubba McDonald, Commissioner Eccles, and Commissioner Tricia Pridemore was a little under the weather today. She was supposed to be here but couldn't be here, and I told her I was going to plug her and the rest of the PSC for being a big part of our business environment in the state. So we appreciate you all. I also want to thank our legislators that are here and those that are not. Majority Leader Steve Gooch, Senator Larry Walker, Representative Matt Hatchett, Representative Shaw Blackman, Representative James Burchett, Representative Ron Stevens, Representative Sharon Cooper, many of my floor leaders, Senator Mike Hodges, Representative Sue Hong, and Representative Lauren McDonald. And I hope I hadn't missed any legislators, but that's the ones I had on my list. And I just want to thank you all again for your support, as well as Speaker Burns and Lieutenant Governor Jones, who had prior commitments and unfortunately were unable to join us today. But they and their chambers certainly will share in this announcement. I also want to give special recognition to former Governor Nathan Deal. We're honored to have Governor Deal with us. As Commissioner Wilson said, he was the first Georgia governor to make an announcement like the one I'll make today, and his leadership helped our state come roaring back after the Great Recession. Also, former Governor and current Chancellor Sonny Perdue wanted to be here, but is currently overseeing the Board of Regents meeting. And during his time in office, he laid the groundwork for the success that we're celebrating today. And I talk about that foundation a lot that Governor Deal and Governor Perdue laid, and we continue to build off that. So we're grateful for y'all's work, but also honored to have Governor Deal with us today. I also want to thank, on behalf of all Georgians, the economic developers on the local and state levels who have promoted our state so well over the years. Today, we're joined by 3 of the department's commissioners, including Commissioner Wilson, obviously, who have led the agency well over the past decade, including Chris Carr and Chris Kaminsky, who's with us today. Thank you all for your leadership. But also thanks to all those who are behind me and to those who couldn't be with us today, especially the hard-working Georgians out there who call this state home. And because of them, I'm able to announce for the 10th consecutive year, Area Development Magazine has ranked Georgia the #1 state for business for a decade now. I'm so glad that Governor Deal's with us today, because when he first announced that Georgia had earned this ranking, and certainly throughout my tenure in office, the Atlanta paper would make fun of this award, saying it came from a small niche outlet that no one's ever heard of. But I will tell you, the proof is in the numbers. Since we first received the #1 for business ranking 10 years ago, over 343,650 new jobs have come to Georgia, and those are just the projects that the state played a role in. Because the decision makers read this publication, we've created more jobs than the Atlanta paper has subscribers. And I want to thank Area Development Magazine again for recognizing all that Georgia has to offer and the opportunity that can be found because of you all in communities all across our state. Not only did they name us #1 overall, But of the 14 criteria used in the selection process, we're also the top spot in 7 categories, and we're in the top 10 for all 14. We continue to rank highly in logistics and infrastructure, with the Department of Transportation maintaining a reliable network of highways, and the Georgia Ports Authority stepping up to meet the challenges of an ever-evolving supply chain while connecting Georgia companies to global markets. Our energy availability and cost also receive top marks, and we're thankful to Georgia Power, our EMCs, and other providers for their great partnership in economic development. The recent completion of the Vogtle 3 reactor, the first reactor in over 30 years in America, and the ongoing work of Vogtle 4 further strengthens our standing in this area. And like so many job creators, area development ranked us high for our pro-business approach, cooperative and responsive state government, and speed of permitting, all areas that depend on legislators and local community leaders like those before you. Our top-ranked workforce training program, Georgia Quick Start, also continues to set us apart. So I want to thank the Quick Start team, as well as our TCSG and USG leadership and faculty for preparing the next generation of workers. I say all the time, economic development is a team sport. Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Kaminsky, and Commissioner Carr said the same. And we're proud to have the best team in the world right here in the Peach State that includes people actually in the community, working hard to bring opportunity to their area. A full decade of #1 status is a direct result of this teamwork, and it's also responsible for record-breaking jobs and investments that we've seen come to Georgia. The majority of those new opportunities are going to rural communities, and I want to recognize the men and women behind me from the development authorities, the chambers of commerce, and city and county leadership across Georgia who represent these areas. They literally represent every region of the state, because as Marty and I always say, the people shouldn't have to move away from home to find good economic opportunity. Working alongside them, we've brought historic opportunity to these communities, and we aren't done yet. This 10th straight year of being the best in the business is because of local communities, the members of our General Assembly, and our entire team refuse to rest on our laurels. We'll continue that strong commitment as we look for even more ways to maintain this ranking, something that we'll be talking about later this week at the inaugural Workforce Summit hosted by my office. So let me close again by thanking all the partners represented here today, and to those throughout the state who couldn't be with us, especially the hardworking Georgians who make us the best state to live, work, and raise their families, because they are the ones that wake up early every morning, tending the Georgia farms, to research and develop advances in technology and engineering, to build our roads and our highways, and to manufacture and assemble Georgia-made goods and vehicles, to operate the cranes at our ports that are moving record amounts of goods, to teach the next generation of workers, and so much more. We are proud of all of them, and everyone here today is proud of them as well. Today we celebrate this great achievement. Tomorrow we go back to work. Thanks for being with us, everybody.
All right, so there you see Governor Brian Kemp taking photos with local leaders, business developers, economic developers, others that have been invited to attend this, what he's calling a historic moment. And some might say it is historic. For 10 years in a row, Area Development Magazine naming Georgia as the #1 state for business, obviously a point of pride for the governor. He is heavy on economic growth for the state, and this was his way of saying, hey, we're being recognized for 10 years in a row, something he calls a major and historic announcement, a major and historic celebration for Georgia and its mission, as Governor Kemp put it, to grow business within the state and develop. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, if you weren't with us, recently we've actually learned that the governor did declare a state of emergency, citing 40-year high inflation, and with that came the suspension of the state's gas tax. That saves Georgians about 31 cents to the gallon when they go to the gas pump, 35 cents if you are getting diesel fuel. Putting that pocket change back in your wallet adds up over time, of course. The governor saying that he's trying to combat inflation in the state and trying to help people as much as he can. So this announcement right here, Area Development Magazine ranking Georgia as the #1 state for business, a big moment for the governor and his continued mission to build up the state as an economic leader. And of course, you can check out more information about this. We'll keep you updated on our website, atlantanewsfirst.com. Download the free Atlanta News First app. We'll send major notifications your way on stories like this so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching.